Hypnospace Outlaw is a truly unique game, with one side of the coin being an affectionate parody of quirky late 90s internet, and the other being a tale of corrupt and end-up capitalism and the tragic effects that it has on people. We'll be going over both sides of the coin in this iceberg, so strap in. The only disclaimer is the usual: each layer is its own video, so make sure you have the next one ready or the playlist open as you watch this. This game had a lot of people brought in to do work for it, such as Neil C. Segarra. However, the most prominently featured is definitely Hot Dad, who made a ton of songs for the game's soundtrack and is the Chowder Man himself. Pretty much everybody who's played this game now knows exactly who he is, so yeah, he's at the very top here. When you first play the game, Satan is most likely going to end up as one of the victims of the mine crash, and is admittedly one of the most hard-hitting ones. However, he's actually one of the two users that can be saved, the other being Carl. You can do this by flagging them once beforehand on one of the first 2 days, and then again on the third day before the mine crash itself happens, which will cause them to get banned, thus saving them from being a victim of it. Now, it was never really said, and I don't know if people prominently considered Satan living to be canon or not. However, with X layers, this means that yes, Satan does indeed live. This game's world has a lot of acronyms that replace ones that are used in the real world, with the one that you'll be most commonly seeing is BWL, which means bursting with laughter. Another one that you'll see is WITW, which means what in the world? So the earliest thing that you'll see in this game that shows that this is not supposed to be the real world is the mention of tennis. And this is something that happened around the invention of tennis, where that was being made. However, someone then stole and plagiarized it and turned it into tennis, which is instead tennis with 3 sides of the court, and hilariously is an objectively worse game. You can't really find anything earlier in the timeline that is different than this, and it's the earliest thing mentioned. And the game has sometimes been referred to in official media as the Trennis timeline. Granny Cream is probably the most well-known, random, not major, not story-related page that is in this game, mainly because it's a meme, due to the stupid concept of it, as well as the hilarious and catchy song made by Hot Dad or Chowder Man. And it also has some other, let's just say, innuendos if you want to take it that way. The meme mostly got popular because of Finney's playthrough of the game, who we'll be talking about later. The game has a lot of references to real-life events to it, changed up for the Trennis universe. Some obvious ones are Cool Punk 99, or Cool Fest 99, which is definitely a reference to Woodstock 99, but other infamous concerts as well, such as the Metallica and Guns N' Roses one that happened earlier, where just nothing went right. There was a horrible injury that happened, and then the latter band just didn't even feel like playing because the singer was taking a nap, and people rioted. Other things include the overall plot of the New Millennium Update, which is a reference to Windows 2000 Update, which is an absolutely horrible update for Windows, which was hated by everybody. It did not work properly, everything about it was bad, and it was kind of the start of like horrible Windows updates that you have to avoid. And some other things are squishers, obviously being a reference to Pokemon. So obvious, in fact, that Jay has actually said that he kind of regrets making it way too in your face and not more subtle and unique to itself. And the joke how, Squishers looks like occult stuff and has satanic connections with the same type of crap happening to Pokemon in the real world. This is a pretty obvious thing that most players will know about. It's just that if you check the headband IDs, you can see that Sane is his own girlfriend because it shares the same one. It's pretty obvious even just reading the page of what's going on. So yeah, let's notice that this is the same for Corey, because less people just know about his girlfriend's page, and it's not quite as obvious, but yeah, that's him. The S-Blade has a Hackblood charge is a popular meme that happened after X-Slayers came out, because you will be hearing this line a lot, especially on the last level, and it's never not funny. There's just something about the repetitiveness that makes it even more funny, and I'm so glad that they never fixed it to make it less commonly occurring. But yes, that does it for the tip. Next up, we'll be getting into the waters.